Hello, everyone. Good evening. We are so excited to bring you a fabulous event tonight with Lisa Evich from Simi Winery. This is the third time Lisa Goslin and I have had the chance to go live with Lisa Evich. So I'm just going to go ahead and say that my name is Lisa tonight. So we can pretend that all the ladies on the line are named Lisa, okay? So this is an especially exciting live event tonight because not only are we welcoming back our friend Lisa, having Simi Winery here tonight, but it's also the launch of our third Summer Fun Mixology competition, which features Simi wines. So before we get started, I'm going to tell you a little bit about the competition. So this is our third of 5 mixology competitions that we're doing this summer. We have 5 sponsors for the Summer Fun event this year. Normally for the Summer Fun tour, we tour around. We go around New Hampshire, Maine, Massachusetts, and we bring you coupons and samples, and we go to events and give you cool swag. But this year we're keeping things close to home. We're asking you, our mixologist, to make a drink at home and submit a video for your chance to win some really cool prizes. So the contest with Simi launched today, July 13th, and it goes until the 25th. So the top 5 people who get the most votes are going to be winning some really cool prizes. And first place is a California wine country adventure. So, things are starting to open back up. Travel is an option again. And we're so excited that Simi offered this wine country adventure for you guys. So we have Lisa here tonight, and she's going to help inspire you. We're going to go through a little background on the winery. I know we have a lot of people on here tonight who have met Lisa before, but she's going to tell all of our new viewers a little bit about Simi, and then we're going to talk through the wines that are part of the Summer Fun Mixology competition to get you inspired, to get you really excited to make some of your own drinks. If you have any questions about the program, please go ahead and leave those in the comments section of Facebook or in the chat on Zoom. I'll answer as many questions live as I can, so that way everybody knows all the details of the competition. And without further ado, I'd like to introduce the other people who are on the line with us tonight. So we have Lisa Goslin and Lisa Evich. So Lisa Goslin, could you take a second and introduce yourself to everybody?
Hi, everyone. I'm Lisa Goslin. I'm the wine marketing specialist at the New Hampshire Liquor Commission. I pretty much select the wines that you know and love in our stores. So we're so excited to kick off this event as part of our Summer Fun Tour program. And we're very excited to have Lisa Evich back. And Lisa and Simi Winery have been great partners with us throughout the many years in the New Hampshire Liquor Commission. And to kick off this event, the Simi Challenge, as Carol Ann stated, starts today and through the 25th of July. So we're challenging you guys to create a great drink recipe, put it on video, and make sure one of the main ingredients is one of Lisa's wines. And so you can go and sign up on newhampshiresummerfun.com. And these wines that we have tonight, the Cabernet, the Chardonnay, and the Sauvignon Blanc are really available in any one of our 69 locations. So thank you guys so much for being part of this event. It's really awesome.
Great. Thank you, Lisa G. And now, Lisa E., could you introduce yourself, please?
Sure. Well, first of all, thank you so much for having me back again. You guys have always been a great partner and friend of Simi Winery, so it's always fun to see what kind of fun programming you come up with next, and appreciate being here. I can tell you a little bit about myself and Simi's history. Is there any other business that you want to get into before I dive into that?
Oh, sure. I did also just want to give a little shout out to Mitchell. Mitchell is part of the Simi team here in New Hampshire. He helps also make it possible for Simi to be here in New Hampshire. He also is helping coordinate the fabulous prizes that they are offering as part of the Summer Fun Tour. So for those of you on the line who, you have a great chance at winning. We don't have any entries yet because the contest just launched today. So get your entry in today, get lots of votes, and then you'll be talking to me and Mitchell again. And then just quick shout out to our viewer, Laura, who is on tonight. She came in second place in the Maker's Mark competition that ended last week. So go, Laura.
Keep at it.
All right, Lisa, the floor is all yours.
All right, cool. Well, thanks again for having me. And so I know there's a lot of repeat viewers here. So thank you for coming back, and I'll just go through a little bit of my story and the Simi story. So even if it's a refresher for some of you, it'll be some new information for others. So I've been here as winemaker at Simi for, well, since 2015. So I'm coming up on my 7th harvest here as winemaker. But I pretty much started my career in the wine industry here way back in 1997, starting in the lab and working my way up into the winemaking department. Then I left to go, get some other experiences at some other wineries. And I was fortunate enough to be able to come back in 2015 and join the winemaking team here. It's a special place, and it's the kind of place that once you've been here, you would understand, what a draw it is, and it gets under your skin. So my background was in environmental studies and planning, and I thought I would work in hazardous materials management or water quality, water treatment plant operation. So luckily for me, I got diverted and entered the wine industry instead. So it's a fun business and challenging business to be in, but a lot of it is fun, and every day is different and every vintage is different. So it definitely keeps you on your toes and keeps things interesting. So one of the great things about Simi is all of the very rich history that we have. Simi was established in 1876. So this is our 145th year of our brand. So it was started by two brothers, Giuseppe and Pietro Simi, who came over to California from Tuscany, and they came here for the gold rush initially, but ended up making wine instead. So they were in San Francisco and traveled around and recognized that Sonoma County, where our winery is now, looked a lot like their home in Montepulciano. And so they started buying grapes from Sonoma County and transporting them across the Golden Gate and making wine in San Francisco and becoming winemakers and wine merchants in San Francisco. And through their successes, they ended up buying a winery here in Sonoma County in Healdsburg, where we are now. And the winery that we make wine in today, still our original stone cellars, were built in 1890 and then expanded in 1904. And that same year that they doubled their operation, both brothers passed away within just a few weeks of each other. And Giuseppe's daughter, Isabelle, who was 18 years old at the time, she took over running the winery. And the super cool thing is, even though she was only 18 years old in 1904, she kept the winery going all the way through Prohibition, didn't lose control of the winery, never closed the doors. And finally, she ended up retiring and selling the winery in 1970. So it's because of her grit and tenacity, as we like to say, that we have all of that great history, and we still have this, beautiful and really cool old cellar that we get to make wine in. And even though it's all of those things, it's got all this history and many, many stories, it can also be a very challenging place to make wine, because it's been added onto so many times over the years. The main part of our cellar has 3 different levels with tanks on the bottom, and then 2 levels of barrels on the top. And we have at least 12 unique cellars within the winery, and each one of them has kind of unique, shall I say, requirements about how we can move wine in and out, and how many barrels we can put in there, or how many barrels we can stack high in a certain cellar, or some areas we can drive a forklift, some we can't, some have floor drains, some don't. So it's really a maze of a winery, and an interesting winery. It takes a long time to get the hang of it, and I feel like I'm still learning from our seasoned cellar staff about how to actually how to run this winery. So I consult with our staff all the time on the best way to do things here. So it definitely keeps things very interesting. So Simi Wines, just going back to where we are in Sonoma County, Healdsburg is in the northern part of Sonoma County, and we're a little bit more inland. The property is right where 3 different AVAs are intersecting. So AVAs are American viticultural areas, and that would be Alexander Valley, which is kind of to the north and east of us. The Russian River Valley, which is kind of south and west of us, and then Dry Creek Valley, which is kind of north and west of us. So our property, depending on where you're standing, you could be in any one of those AVAs, and we source from all of those among other different viticultural areas within Sonoma County. And that's really, I think what makes our wine so special is we try to reflect what Sonoma County has to offer. So like most great wine growing regions, we are close to bodies of water in Sonoma County. So we have the Pacific Ocean that runs, a huge stretch along the coast and plays a huge part in, the microclimates, the Russian River Valley. It draws that cool air from the coast in the mornings, and it kind of cools everything down, even as far inland as Alexander Valley, which has the Russian River flowing through it. The fog comes all the way up into the southernmost part of Alexander Valley. So even that really warm region, there's some distinct differences from the north part to the south part because of the effect of the Russian River. So it's a very interesting place to make wine, and we're very fortunate that we have long-term relationships with growers, and we also own a number of acres of vineyards in mostly Alexander Valley, but also in the Russian River Valley, where we farm Chardonnay and Pinot Noir. And so, through blending among different AVAs, I think, are able to make wines that are balanced and complex, and really reflect what Sonoma County is capable of producing as a wine growing region. We're really, I think, considered one of the most diverse regions in the world in terms of the different types of wines that we can produce. Everything from, very opulent, rich, full-bodied red wines to more delicate Pinot Noirs, and really everything in between. It's really, the diversity here is really incredible. But what we focus on here at Simi is mostly Chardonnay, Cabernet Sauvignon, and Sauvignon Blanc. And those are the wines that we're going to be pouring and talking about tonight. So is that a good place to stop and talk about anything else, Carol Ann?
Yeah, Lisa, that sounds great. I'm sorry that you can't see me. I'm having some trouble with my camera, but
Okay.
I'm here, and I think it's time for some wine. I'm very excited.
Awesome. Okay. Well, I'll go ahead and start out with our Sonoma County Sauvignon Blanc. So when I was talking about some of the regions that we source from, this is primarily from Alexander Valley, which it's a little bit farther inland, and it's more protected from the coastal influence, yet the Russian River itself pulls in that fog. So the important effect of the fog that comes in at night is it drops the temperature. So it's called a diurnal shift. It's that difference between a daytime and a nighttime temperature. So that creates a longer growing season. It allows the grapes to hold on to the acidity, and it allows the grapes to really achieve full maturity at the same time that it's getting that sugar accumulation. So that doesn't necessarily coincide. There are some grape growing regions where you can get sugar accumulation faster than you get the maturity of the grapes. So then you get a wine that's out of balance. So what I'm saying is Sonoma County is really, there's so many great grape growing regions here, and we can get all of those factors that are balanced and all come to play very nicely together. So about 40% of this Sauvignon Blanc comes from the Alexander Valley. And then we also get some of the grapes from Dry Creek Valley, Sonoma Valley, and Russian River Valley. The wine itself is definitely more of a California style. It's got, you know, some nice peach, apricot, there's lime. It's more of a riper style rather than that really bright, grassy, green New Zealand style. So I'm just gonna take a little sip. Nice and crisp and refreshing. I love this wine because I think it's just so approachable and fresh and refreshing. It's great as an aperitif. And I think what it goes with is just about everything. It goes with food prep. That's my favorite time to enjoy it. Is, you know, when you're in the kitchen after work, chopping vegetables, and you just, you know, grab yourself a glass of wine. And yeah, and I see, Mitchell, you're saying seafood. Yes, for sure. Fish, shellfish, chicken, any kind of grilled chicken, grilled lighter meats, grilled pork, delicious. Yeah.
Lisa, we have another question for you.
Okay.
Will continued extreme temperatures change the way Simi sources and grows grapes for future vintages?
I don't see, I mean, at this point, I don't see that will change where we source from. I think there may be changes that we have to make in how we farm. And, you know, we have a world-class viticulture team that manages, you know, those changes as climate change kind of rolls along, and we're discovering, you know, the effect that it has on our vineyards. You know, they do a lot of research and keep up with all of the current developments and technologies of what to do in the vineyard to really adapt to these situations.
Awesome, thank you.
Yeah. So should we move on to the Chardonnay?
So again, guys, sorry about my camera, but we do have another question about the competition. So let me just answer that before we move on. So one of our viewers on Facebook said, you said what first prize is, what are the next prizes? So yes, for this competition, the Simi competition, the first prize winner will get a California wine country adventure. And then second through fifth place will all get New Hampshire Liquor and Wine Outlet gift cards. So second place will get a $500 gift card. Third place will get a $250 gift card. Fourth place will get a $100 gift card. And then fifth place will get a $50 gift card. We're also giving away gift cards and some other cool smaller prizes just for voting. So for those of you who don't want to enter the competition, but do want to cast a vote for your friend or family member, you'll also be entered to win gift cards and some other cool stuff as well. All right, Lisa, back to the wine.
All right. Yeah, so I'm going to go ahead and pour myself some of the Sonoma County Chardonnay. So again, this is coming primarily from Alexander Valley. And then we source from other regions that are a little bit on the cooler side. Los Carneros is in the southern part of the county, and that is really influenced by the San Pablo Bay. So that's the body of water that intrudes through the Golden Gate and up into comes up like near Sonoma, Napa area. So it gets a lot of really cool weather, and the grapes get more citrusy, crisp, bright flavors. And then the grapes that come from the warmer regions, they're really getting more like yellow apple, pear, you know, some of that tree fruit, more tropical kind of fleshy expression of Chardonnay. And Chardonnay is it's an interesting grape because it's very malleable. It has a lot of different ways that it shows up. So we get complexity by sourcing from different regions and blending those together. And also the way that we handle the Chardonnay, the juice in the winery. So we press it, you know, we put the berries in a big press, squeeze the juice out, put it in a tank, and then we add yeast to it. That's going to convert the sugar to alcohol. And then after it has that yeast, we put it all into barrels, and we do barrel fermentation on about 85% of our Chardonnay. So what happens during that barrel fermentation is we have thousands of barrels fermenting along, and each one of those is an individual tank or fermentation. It's its own unique thing. So at the end of that time of fermentation, there's all the yeast cells settle down to the bottom of the barrel. And during the life of this wine sitting in those barrels and aging, it's sitting on those yeast cells, and those start to fall apart over time. And that's really a good thing. It's called yeast autolysis. So we're stirring the lees during that time, and that imparts a more creaminess and texture, and really makes the wine have a more fleshy characteristic. So it's really just, it's a tool that we use to build up the body and the flavor of the wine and give it a nice, you know, fleshiness and texture and creaminess. And then we blend that with a small component that we ferment in stainless steel tanks. So with that portion of it, that is preserving more of that freshness, the fresh fruitiness. So we end up with a wine that has a little bit of everything. It's balanced, it's complex, it's got a little bit of that buttery characteristic, but it's all integrated with the oak and the fruit and the freshness and the acidity. So I think it's a very approachable wine, very food friendly, and it seems to be a crowd pleaser, that it appeals to a lot of different types of Chardonnay drinkers. Chardonnay can be very polarizing. Some people really like that buttery and oaky characteristic, and some people just don't. And so I think our Chardonnay has kind of a broad appeal, that it kind of runs that fine line, that it appeals to a lot of different types of Chardonnay lovers. I'm not seeing anybody else with a glass in their hand. I hope the viewers at home have something. And Mitchell's saying lobster rolls. Yum. That sounds amazing. I think I had my first lobster roll with you, Mitchell.
Lisa, we did have a few people comment earlier that they
Okay.
are tasting along. So you've got a few people
Awesome.
tasting. Looks like Laura has some of the cab. Laura, are you gonna go 2 for 2 and win this competition? Come in the top 5 with the cab? We'll see what she says. Oh yeah, Laura, you can keep entering. If for anybody on the line who has won one of the previous competitions, you can still enter the next competitions. Laura, you're so cute. Can I enter? I have ideas. Yes, you can. Simi's a great one. Oh, Lisa, question for you from Facebook.
Yes.
I'm very interested to see how you're going to answer this question. Somebody on Facebook wants to know if do you think there are any spirits that would pair well with the Chardonnay? I think somebody's trying to get inspired for their cocktail creation.
spirits with the Chardonnay. I don't know. Does vermouth count? Something maybe with Chardonnay and vermouth and maybe a little, I don't know, club soda or something like that.
Oh, perfect. I mean, I think like a raspberry liqueur or peach schnapps maybe, but that's
Oh,
just me.
wow. Oh yeah, I can see the peach. Yeah, we got a little bit of that peach characteristic. I was thinking something that is more herbal. I don't know, something like a yellow chartreuse or something that has, a lot of herbs in it, but not a whole lot of it because some of those liqueurs are pretty sweet.
Mm.
So,
Oh, Mitchell
I don't know,
says
it's all about
spicy
balance.
rye.
Spicy rye. Ooh.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then you guys, again, I just want to apologize again for my video not working right now, but please know I'm smiling at you as I say this. So Judy wants to know how people are submitting their videos. So Judy, what you do is you upload your video ideally to YouTube. Vimeo works too. And then you send us the link at nhsummerfun.com. You go to the current challenge page. And then there's a section in the form where you submit the link. YouTube works a little bit better for us because then if and when you win, we're able to download your video to share. So that's why we prefer YouTube, but Vimeo will work too. All right, guys. If we don't have any more questions right now for Lisa, we can, I think, go on to the next wine.
All right. So the next wine that I have is the Alexander Valley Cabernet Sauvignon. So this wine is 100% Cabernet. This was a lot of fun to make. This is the first vintage that we went back to making this as 100% Cabernet and making a smaller production of it so we could elevate and really showcase some of our better vineyards in Alexander Valley that are on the northern part and the eastern flank of the Mayacamas range. So there are vineyards that have a little bit more elevation. They have to struggle a little bit more, to get water, to get nutrients out of the soil. And anytime a vine has to struggle, it builds character. So this wine, I think, has just a ton of character. It's got a really beautiful structure, nice tannin backbone, and really shows everything that you would want to see out of an Alexander Valley Cabernet Sauvignon. It's, dark fruit, black cherry, lots of berries, blackberry, dried berries, plum, spice. I think it's just delicious. It's really, it's a big wine. It has a little bit of dark chocolate, cocoa. Oh man, you could really go crazy with this this blending challenge with this wine. I don't know. I honestly haven't done any cocktail blending with any of our wines, but once you start thinking about some of those characteristics and components that you get in the flavors, there's lots of the different directions that you could go with it.
For those of you who were able to attend our last event with Lisa, she was joined by one of the Simi chefs, Colin, and he actually used the Cabernet to make tiramisu. So maybe you can mix the Cabernet with a little chocolate martini situation going on. And if you use that cocktail, please give me credit.
That's right. Yeah, very cool. Coffee liqueur. Yeah, something to amp that up. And chocolate, coffee, dark berries, maybe something like with cassis. Isn't there some kind of cassis liqueur? Ooh, yummy. I don't know. I think it's pretty good by itself, honestly. That's just me.
Agreed. Lisa G, are you still at the office? Can you get Mark Roy to come give us some spirit suggestions?
I am still at the office, but Mark is not in the building. I am actually the only one in the building right now. So
Oh, you guys, Lisa Goslin holding down the New Hampshire State Liquor Commission right now. All right, Lisa Evich, we have a question for you from Facebook. I know that you did actually talk about this a little while ago, but we have somebody who just joined us and he wants to know about your background. How long have you been making wine?
Oh, yeah. Okay. So I have been in the business since 1997. I've been a winemaker for, let's see, 7, 8, 9, around 10 years now, going on around 10 years. I worked my way up from the lab side of things, and just worked my way into, making wine and being part of a team. It was really helpful working for smaller wineries. At a smaller winery, you end up getting to do a little bit of everything. With a smaller crew, it's, especially during harvest, it's all hands on deck. So there were harvests where I was driving a forklift and moving barrels and dumping grapes into the hopper and running the presses and catching wine or sending water, doing all of these harvest activities. And that's where you learn all of the nuts and bolts of, winery operations and, just how to run a facility. And that's a huge part of winemaking, not just, drinking wine and tasting and all of those things, which is important as well. And at several of the wineries that I've worked at, we had estate vineyards that were on the winery property, and that was very educational as well. Here at Simi, we don't have vineyards on our property, even though we own vineyards. So that's really, having vineyards that are right there keeps you a lot more, I think, in touch with the process of grape growing. Incidentally, we've just heard that veraison has started in Sonoma County in some of our vineyards. And that word is the term for when the grapes start to change color. So the significance of veraison for a winemaker is that's when you realize harvest is coming. It's not just, this thing that's out there that's, it's going to happen sometime. We'll kind of plan for it. Well, veraison roughly means that vineyard will be ready in about 6 weeks from the time that veraison is complete. So that it kind of starts the clock to ticking. So just in the last couple of days, we're kind of feeling like, oh yeah, okay, well, we better finish up making all of our plans and getting everything ready for harvest. So that's definitely coming.
That's awesome. Such an exciting time.
Yeah.
So you must be getting very busy with the harvest coming up, but I mean, what are you doing in January? You think you're going to come out to New Hampshire?
Well, I hope so. Are we going to be traveling then? I'd love to come out again.
I mean, Lisa G, it's official, right? We're having in-person events again for January.
Yes, we are. The details are not finalized, but as of right now, it looks like we're going to hold it the last Thursday in January. So Wine Week will be on this year. So we can't wait. We're ecstatic. And yes, of course, Lisa, we would love to have you back.
That's fantastic news, Lisa. Thank you. I really missed it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not totally official yet, but it will be soon.
In pencil.
Yay. There's a pretty spirited conversation going on in this chat on Zoom, guys. It looks like quite a few of our attendees are going to be making cocktails for this competition, and they want to bring them to both of the Lisas to taste test. So that's awesome, guys. And we have a question on Facebook. Somebody wants to know how to enter. So to enter the competition, you visit nhsummerfun.com and then click on the tab called Current Challenge. So there's a form on that page down at the bottom, and that's where you put all of your information. So not to get too in the weeds, but basically you need to have your video ready before you do that. So your video should be no more than 2 minutes long. It should include one of the Simi wines that Lisa talked to us about today. And if you could subscribe to our YouTube channel while you're uploading your video, that would be great. So then you just submit it via the form on our site, along with a picture and a brief description. And then starting later on this week, the videos will all be open for voting. And so whoever gets the most votes will win the top 5 prizes. Right. Oh, Lisa Evich, one of our viewers on Facebook wants to know if you'll be making a cocktail for the competition.
I should, huh? Ah, yeah. I'm thinking about it now.
That's
I was
awesome.
just, yeah, while you were just talking, my mind was wandering over to the landslide cab, and I was thinking about liqueurs that would complement that. So I don't know if I want to give away my ideas now, though.
I know
I
that.
know, I feel the same way. I have a couple of good ideas and I don't want to give them away.
There's
Right.
nothing like a little friendly competition to, you know, get people involved and spirited.
Right. Lisa Goslin, question for you. One of our viewers would like to know, are these the only 3 Simi wines available at the New Hampshire state stores?
So no, we do have other wines that we carry from Simi, and we have like most of the ones that we do have in the stores are limited inventory. We have a Landslide Alexander Valley. We have a Chardonnay Sonoma Reserve. What else? The Merlot. We carry the Merlot, and we carry the Pinot Noir Reserve, and a Pinot Noir Sonoma. But like I said, some of those are limited, so you'll probably have to check our website if any of those wines interest you.
Awesome. Thanks, Lisa. And guys, don't forget the 3 wines that Lisa E shared with us today. Those are the ones that are part of the competition. Obviously, we want you to enjoy all the Simi wines, but make sure that your drink includes one of these 3. Let's see.
I have another cab that I was going to taste. It's the landslide cab.
Well, let's do it.
Did we do that one too?
Please, no recipes with this one though, because this one, it doesn't need a recipe. It is
Oh,
awesome
okay.
by itself.
Ah, okay. Well, we can leave that one out. That's all right.
No. You can talk about it, Lisa.
Okay. Uh-oh, you just got muted.
Oh, no. All right, guys. So between my video and Lisa G's audio, the rain in New Hampshire is not being kind to us tonight, guys. Well, so yes, the landslide is not part of the competition, but it is fabulous with a capital F. It is so good. Drink it by itself. Don't make it into a cocktail. It's so, so good. And now Lisa, please tell us more about it, because it is so good. After our last event, I got a bottle and I'll never look back.
It's a special wine, and it's really from a special place, the Landslide Vineyard. I'll go into the story behind the name, which is, I think, so fascinating. We've been farming this property since the 1980s. It's some of the oldest Cabernet vines in Sonoma County. So the wisdom behind planting this vineyard originally is that the rootstocks that were chosen were not the ones that were favored at that time by some of the universities. So there was a rootstock that was being promoted as being phylloxera resistant. So phylloxera is a bug that can get in the soil and eat the roots of the vines and cause disease and cause the vines to fail. There was a huge phylloxera problem in California in the 1980s. So this vineyard was planted with rootstock that was truly phylloxera resistant. So all of those vines from the 80s have survived that epidemic of the 1980s. So we have, this incredible depth of flavor that we get from those vines. It's really interesting. So anyway, the Landslide Vineyard is named because during that same era, there was a geologist from UC Davis, who came out to the vineyard before it was named Landslide and dug soil pits. So that's really digging just straight down into the soil until you get to bedrock, and then examining what is it within each layer. And so by going through different parts of the vineyard, she was able to determine that there was an ancient landslide where soil and rock materials from Mount St. Helena, which is nearby, slid down, and those soils were deposited in this vineyard where our vineyard is planted. And what it created was an incredible diversity of soil types, microclimates, different aspects to the sun. So each individual block is just a little bit different from the other. So it's a very diverse vineyard. And the other part that she proposed, her theory, is that vineyard, that landslide, changed the course of the Russian River, because it used to flow through the Napa Valley out into the San Pablo Bay, and that landslide blocked its flow to the Napa Valley and forced it to head through the Santa Rosa Plain and head out to the Pacific Ocean. So that really changed the geology of Sonoma County. So anyway, this vineyard, it's our only vineyard designated cab that we have in production in stores in New Hampshire. It's a blend of 86% Cabernet Sauvignon, but it also has Merlot, Malbec, Cabernet Franc, Petit Verdot, and a tiny bit of Tannat. So the wine itself is nice and fleshy, fruity. It's got a really nice dirty backbone of Cabernet, but the other blending components really lend a lot of freshness and depth, complexity. It's got a nice perfume to it. It's got a little bit of a violet and black pepper spice to it, and just some lovely fruit, dried plum, blackberry, cherry, some nice dried fruit. It's really a lovely wine by itself and with food, but not with cocktails.
Lisa,
What
I
do you think, Caroline?
have a couple questions for you, but I have one for me too that I'm going to answer first because it's easy. So one of our viewers wants to know if you have to be a New Hampshire resident to be eligible for the competition, and you do not. You have to be a resident of one of the 50 United States. That is the only geographic restriction. And now, 2 questions for Lisa. So I feel like this one's going to be really hard, but one of our viewers wants to know what your favorite wine that you make is.
Wow, my favorite wine to make. Well, Landslide Vineyard it's probably my favorite just because it's really fun. We have 46 different distinct blocks from there. Most of it is cab, but I mentioned the other Bordeaux blending varietals. And I think I said it's 170 acres. So it's just a very interesting place to source fruit from. Each part of the vineyard ripens at different times during the growing season. So it's literally the Merlot that we get from there is the very first Merlot that we bring into the winery during the season. And then some of the cabs from different parts of the vineyard are the very last fruit that we bring in at the end of our harvest. So everything that comes in is kept separate through the whole growing process, from harvest to crush, fermentation, to barrel aging, and then it isn't until the very end before blending that we go through each of the lots and we decide, how we're going to put our blends together. So we keep everything separate cuvee style throughout the whole process, and so it's a really fun vineyard to work with and beautiful fruit.
Awesome. And then the other question for you is, can you please tell us about the different labels on the bottles behind you?
Oh, are they these ones?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I love these bottles. I keep them in my windowsill, but I thought I just moved into my new office and I don't have anything here. It's very boring. So I thought I'd just put these bottles on my desk for decoration. But what is really cool is these are all bottles that I've opened during the time that I've been here, and they're old. I don't know if you can see that. This is a 1935 Cabernet Sauvignon, and we still have, I don't know, 20, about 20 cases of this wine in our inventory. And this is the same thing here, just a larger bottle of it. We don't open it all the time, but on special occasions, um, we'll open up a bottle and just, taste it. It doesn't taste like a Cabernet that you would think of today, but it's like it's a little bit of history. Recently, we had two employees that retired within a month of each other, who had been working here for 35 years. So I thought that would be a good time to break out some older wines. So there were some newer employees here who had never had a chance to taste some of these old wines. And it's very interesting to go through and be able to taste a wine that's 80, 90 years old. It's pretty neat. This one next to it, this is a 1974. So this says Alexander Valley Cabernet Sauvignon on the label. That was a full 10 years before Alexander Valley was designated as an AVA, and it was official. So we have a lot of roots and history with Alexander Valley. And that's just another one from 1978. So it's just kind of cool to have, again, so much history, and having these wines in our library and having enough of them that we can go in and open them up every once in a while and taste them and share them with people.
Awesome. Well, now we have a few follow-ups about the vintages. First question for Lisa Goslin. Does New Hampshire ever get any of these cool older wines?
Typically we don't get the older vintages. Sometimes we might get something offered, but for the most part, I think those vintages pretty much are sold out. They may have some left at the vineyard for, special occasions and stuff like Lisa was talking about. But for the most part, we don't usually have like 1974 or anything like that.
All right, everybody. So you'll have to go to the winery, track down Lisa, and tell her that it's a special occasion.
Exactly.
And then, so Joanne here on Zoom, she wants to know, how have the, I'm going to call them vintages held up, and have they changed in color at all?
Oh, these vintages, the
Yeah.
old ones? Yeah, it's interesting because each bottle is different. There's a huge amount of bottle variation, and I was looking for something recently when we were having that retirement party that I just mentioned. One of the bottles I pulled out, it looked like clear liquid, and all of the color and everything had just settled out into the bottom. So, I don't know, it's kind of a mystery what happens inside that container over, so many decades. But yeah, there's not really a consistency from bottle to bottle, but every once in a while, I think you can open something up that actually tastes kind of good and has a little bit of fruit left, but they're very ethereal, I would like to say. Just they don't have, they're not, like a modern wine, what you think of as a Cabernet Sauvignon. It has alcohol and acidity, but the fruit has really changed into something more like it's very umami, like almost a soy sauce or something like that. And that sounds gross, but there's something about it that's appealing.
Awesome. Lisa, I have a couple more questions for you, if you don't mind.
Sure.
Steve is wondering if you have any plans to do a dry rosé.
That is a good question. The last time we made a dry rosé was in 2018, and we stopped making it for a few years. I don't think we're going to make it with this vintage, but I would like to think that it will be back in the future.
All right, Steve, stay tuned.
Yeah.
See if we can get some for you here in New Hampshire. Let's see, somebody wants to know, what are the prizes just for voting in the competition? So for those of you who didn't hear already, as part of our competition, you do not have to enter a cocktail to win a prize. You can just vote for your favorite cocktail and you could win something. So the Simi competition has 5 prizes. The first one being a trip to wine country, and then 2 through 5 will win gift cards to our stores. And then for those of you just voting, you can win gift cards as well. We also have some prize packs with bar stools. We have an espresso machine. We have the non-alcohol ingredients to make espresso martinis that come with that. We're also giving away tailgate chairs, tailgate wagon, and an Everkey backpack. So we have some really cool stuff just for voting. Oh, I'm sorry. There's also a 16-foot outdoor movie screen available just for voting. So the voting prizes are not being pulled every week like the competition prizes are. So you might have to wait a little bit longer to find out what you won, but please vote away. And if you enter a video, you can still vote as well and be entered for multiple prizes. Right. Oh, and Tracy wants to know how we're reaching out to the winners. So I know you can't see me right now, but me, Carol Ann, or my coworker Joe, we are notifying all of the winners. So you will get an email from myself or from Joe. So be on the lookout if you're entering the competition. If you know you have the most votes, be ready for us. Oh, another question about the competition. Sorry, Lisa, there are more questions for you before we let you go, but let me just try and get through all these. The voting is on the website. That was one of the questions, is where do I vote? So you vote on nhsummerfun.com. Voting is not open yet. So the competition just opened today. We're giving people a couple days each round to get their video submissions in before we open voting. So voting will open on Thursday, the 15th. It is taking place on our website, but we see the link to every video, of course. And so we are going in and liking all of the videos that get submitted as well, to try and get people some more views. The more likes you get on YouTube, the more they show your video to other people. So let's see. Oh, Steve will be making a Simi unicorn sparkler for his cocktail. Steve, you are awesome. All right. So if nobody has, if there are no more questions about the competition, we do have a couple more minutes with Lisa and a few more questions for her. All right, I'm just looking through. We have quite a few questions for you. Somebody else wanted to know what your favorite wine is, but she already answered, guys. So we already know what her favorite wine is. Oh, Lisa, one of our viewers who tuned in the last time you were on wants to know, how is Colin doing? Do you get to hang out with him a lot?
No, I don't get to hang out with him that much. He's got a pretty busy schedule.
Guys, if you want to see Lisa and Colin, you'll just have to go out and visit. You'll have to win the competition, win first prize, and get out there. All right. Oh, Lisa, this is a first. I think now we've had you on 3 times. People feel like you guys are best friends. Somebody wants to know, if you weren't a winemaker, what would you do?
Oh my gosh. Well, my backup plan was inspecting leaking underground storage tanks. So I don't know, maybe that's what I would be doing right now.
Awesome.
I don't know, or an intrepid world traveler.
That sounds fun. All right. And last question is for Lisa Goslin. So So one of our viewers on Facebook is wondering about the pricing of the Simi wines that Lisa tasted tonight. So Lisa G, I know that you have answered that in the comment section, but would you mind sharing for the people watching on Facebook as well?
Yes, so we have the Semi Chardonnay is on sale for $12.99. The Cabernet is on sale for $16.99, and the Sauvignon Blanc is on sale for $12.99. And the Landslide is a little bit more of the limited stores that we carry inventory in, and that one's on sale for $31.99. And if anybody wants to know what I would be doing if I wasn't, I wanted to be an astronaut.
Awesome.
That's what I wanted to be. It just didn't work out.
All right. You know what, Lisa E, we actually have one more question for you. One of our viewers would like to know if you've ever had any celebrity sightings at the winery.
Celebrity sightings. You know, I don't recall seeing any celebrities coming to visit as a wine patron. But if anybody has watched any of the many wine documentaries or movies out there, you might know the name Michel Rolland. He's kind of a famous wine consultant from France. He used to come here and consult back in the 90s when I was working in the lab, and I had no idea who he was, but he would fly in and get a car to bring him up to, you know, little old Healdsburg, you know, this little hidden town up tucked away in the northern part of Sonoma County. He would breeze into the winery smelling like cigars and cologne, and then he would sit in the blending lab with the winemaker all day, and they would taste through wines and put all the blends together for the year. But I still marvel at the fact that somebody can smoke and wear cologne and still be able to put together award-winning world-class wines. So that's my celebrity story.
That's amazing. For those of you who are local to New Hampshire, we do occasionally have celebrities and wine celebrities, as I like to call them, in our stores. So be on the lookout. You know, Big Poppy came for a visit a couple of years ago, and Matt Light from the New England Patriots. We had him. Who else? We've had a few other celebrities who are associated with wine and spirits brands. I can't think of them at the moment, but be on the look. You might have oh yeah, Mitchell, excuse me, Dan Aykroyd. That was wonderful because before that event started, he did a Julia Child impersonation for me. So I can't believe I forgot to mention him. So, you know, you never know who you're going to run into at the New Hampshire Liquor and Wine Outlets, guys. All right, everybody. Thank you so much for tuning in tonight. We hope that you are drinking some Simi wine at home tonight, getting inspired to make your cocktails. We wish you all the best of luck. Please enter the competition at nhsummerfun.com. There is nothing I love more than getting to email people and tell them that they have won fabulous trips to wine country. So please enter. I hope somebody on the line tonight wins because you got a little bit of extra inspiration from Lisa. And we will see you guys again soon. Oh, you know what? Sorry. I keep saying this. Last question. One of our viewers wants to know if Lisa E will be going live with us again soon. So, I mean, Lisa, at this point, we're on like a quarterly schedule. So we'll probably see you again in 3 to 4 months.
I think last year I did something during harvest. Maybe it was in September. So yeah, maybe I can take my camera out on the road in the winery and show you some grapes getting processed or something fun.
Awesome. Well, if that doesn't work out and we don't get to go to harvest with Lisa, it sounds like she might be able to come see us in January. So get excited, sign up for our email list, and you'll be notified first when tickets for whatever events we're able to have take place. So thank you everybody so much for tuning in. Apologies again for my lack of video. I really am very happy and smiling and excited to be here with you all tonight. So I will see you.
Thanks for having me.
see you all again soon. Thank you so much, Lisa, Mitchell, and we had Shannon working behind the scenes tonight as well. So thank you, everybody. We will see you again soon.
Bye. Bye, Lisa. Thank you.
Bye, thank you.
Night.